Hello and welcome. I'm your number one introvert, and this is Introvert Reviews, a series in which I review things and stuff because it's obvious it's in the name. And this week I'm going to be reviewing Batman vs Superman. So spoiler warning just now because I'm going to be talking about the story, talking about what happens in the end. Although I can't really spoil this film because everything was kind of told to you in the trailers. But there are like one or two things that I will be telling you that people didn't know about, of course. So if you don't want to know about them, stop watching now. But if you do, then just carry on. Anyway, I'm changing the way I do reviews from now on. So this is the first attempt, and I'm going to go with every film. I'm going to do 5 gripes and 5 wows. Like 5 things that wowed me and 5 things that just really, really bugged me or made me think this film was just terrible and I can't watch it anymore. So starting with the gripes. Number 1 is that in the film, Superman practically does nothing. He's just there, and he's just having this like dilemma of like whether he should help people, whether he should not, or like whether he's meant to be on this planet, which we kind of had a lot of in Man of Steel. So I don't really think we needed a lot of it in this film. It would have been cooler to see him be more like so self-assured in what he does now. He's like a hero, and when everyone's like, oh, is this man here to help or is he here to destroy? I mean, look at what happened in Metropolis. He's like, yeah, I get that, but I'm gonna carry on doing what I'm doing no matter what. And he's like that for like 20 minutes of the film, and then he changes, and then he's like, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the wrong thing? I don't really know. And then you're kind of just like, dude, didn't we sort this all out? What are we doing? What are we doing? Can we get onto something else? I mean, like, there are scenes where he could do, like, awesome things, but he kind of doesn't. Like, there's a scene in the Senate when, like, this wheelchair blows up, and then it's just him standing there like, damn, should have done something about that. Gripe number 2 is, basically, this is a Zack Snyder film, through and through. It's style over substance. It's beautiful imagery and, like, all these fast-paced shots and all this like zooming camera work and things, but no real substance behind it. There's no like, story to it. There's no like anything to keep you entertained. It's pretty much just a pretty picture that I'm supposed to stare at and go, "Ooh, wow, this is so amazing," because it's a pretty picture. And he's done this before. He does it all the time. I mean, look at Sucker Punch, which was the most like, oh Jesus Christ, I hate that film so much. It's basically just this one giant mess of look how beautiful these girls are and look how beautiful this action is, but with nothing behind it. And that just annoys me because I was like, why did I sit through this entire thing just to be wowed with beautiful visual images? There are films that do that, but at the same time have this amazing story behind it that's great to watch. The third gripe is that this happened in Man of Steel and it happened again in this. There were so many religious and mythological references that it is ridiculous. I mean, like, Superman gets called a god so many times in this film, it's ridiculous. And it's not just that, it's like everything's a metaphor for gods and men and gods and monsters and gods and demons. I mean, like, what is this? What is this? Lex Luthor's just going around talking about things, going like, oh, he's a god and we're going to need to take down a god, or we're going to need to take down a mythological figure. There's a moment where he's talking to Superman and he calls him a bevy of mythological gods, and it's just kind of like, dude, did you have to put all that in there? We get it. Superman is a god. He is a god. He's amazingly a god. And everything just points towards this, like the moment when he's in Mexico and all these people are worshipping him and putting their hands over him and they're skull-faced like he's their savior, when he saves the woman off the roof in the flooding area and he comes down and the sun's behind him, and it's just like, God, we get it, we don't need any more of this, just stop it, please, it's annoying as fucking hell, alright? My fourth gripe, and this is a big one, is that this film is really confusing in places. Like, there are moments where you're like, was that a flashback? Was that a dream sequence? There's no, like, real indicator. There's no, like, sign of it. There's no, like, flash, and then it's a flashback, and you're like, oh, of course. And then it's like, there are dream sequences in this, and it just confuses me. Like, when the Flash appears, it's really cool and everything, and he's like, oh, did I get here too early? It's kind of funny. But then you're kind of sitting there like, is this actually happening? And then Batman just wakes up, and you're like, so that was a dream. Within an actual dream. That was a secondary, and then you're like, was that, what just happened? Oh wait, so was the whole destroyed dystopian parademon-infested world a dream, followed by the Flash appearing a dream? And then Batman wakes up? Also, why is Batman having pathetic dreams? Is he psychic? No, he's not. Is he a soothsayer? No, he's not again. But somehow, he's got the ability to see this weird dystopian future and see the Flash. What's that about? I'm so confused. I was like, what? Huh? There's nothing really like tying these things together. My fifth gripe is the titular fight, the Batman vs Superman fight that the trailers and the marketing was pushing for. It was the whole, look at this, the best gladiator fight in the world, Batman, the Dark Knight versus the Man of Steel Superman. And then they clash for about 20 minutes, which is kind of badass, and there's like smashing and kryptonite. And then they find out that their mums have the same name, and they become the bestest of friends ever, and like, hey, I'm gonna go save your mom. You go deal with Lex. I'll go save your mom. Teamwork. Haha. And then it's like, wait, what? Well, you guys were just beating the crap out of each other, but you found out that your moms are both named Martha, and all of a sudden, he's your best friend? That's a cheap out. At best. At worst, it's just stupid. It's just a dumb plot device. I have a special sixth gripe for this film, and it's a big one, and that is Lex himself. Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen in my goddamn life. He was this weird, like, mix of the Joker and Lex Luthor, because he had this whole, like, crazy kind of twitchy mad shtick going on, but then at the same time had, like, the genius of Lex Luthor and the power wanting of Lex Luthor. And then you're kind of like, what are you, the Joker? Like, what's going on? And there are so many weird scenes where he's just like, he puts a Jolly Rancher in some dude's mouth, and you're like, what the hell is that about? There was no need for that. And he doesn't as a character make any sense to me. He's not the Lex that's supposed to be there. He's not like a strong businessman who you would expect to be in charge of this entire company. It basically seems like he was just left this entire company by his dad, and so he's inherited it and turned into the king and been like, I am Lex, king of LexCorp. And it was a bad choice. My 5 wows, on the other hand, for this film, and these are big ones, these are what made the film for me. Wonder Woman. That's just Wonder Woman, full stop. Everything about Wonder Woman. The only thing that annoyed me was that she wasn't in the film too much, and when she was in the beginning, she was just Diana Prince. Look at how beautiful I am in this dress, and how silky smooth my voice is, and I'm gonna rob you and then give this back to you because I'm a good person. But like, that was cool and everything, but I just wanted to see more of her. And then she comes in at the end and she's this total badass. Like, she's the only one who really hurts Doomsday. Everyone else is just punching him and hitting him, but he's not really dying. He's not really getting majorly hurt. But she comes in with a sword, slices off his hand. It's badass. Her theme music as well is so awesome. I loved it. My second wow is that Batfleck was a badass. Like, he was like flying around, and he played this old grizzled Batman so well. He's flying around, he killed people, which was, like, weird to see for Batman, but it kind of makes sense with this, because he's not exactly, like, he's been at this too long. He was, like, a hero, bad things have happened, now he's retired, and he's just like, all of this. I'm not wasting my time being a nice guy and putting these guys away, and then they're just going to come out. I'm just going to kill them. Done with it. And it was awesome. It was great to see. So my third wow is the style of a substance. Now I said that I don't like that Zack Snyder's style of a substance way of making films, but I gotta say he makes awesome fight scenes. Visually this film was stunning, but that doesn't save it from having a bad plot, but it just looked cool. That's all I'm saying. The fight scenes were awesome, the car chase, awesome, and that final fight with Doomsday was so badass. It was like crash, bang, boom, laser beams, and the Dark Knight Returns reference with the whole like landing on the wall, lightning strike, and then him having to flip away. Great, but doesn't save it from having a bad story. It was just pretty to look at. I can appreciate a pretty picture. And my fourth wow has to be the Justice League setup. Now, I know that DC is going for their whole kind of own Marvel thing, like where they bringing in their Justice League, and they set up in this film kind of well. I like the fact that Wonder Woman looked through all these files that had these heroes in, had like the Flash, Cyborg, and Aquaman. There were just these little scenes with them, and the scene with Aquaman was one of my favorite because I love Aquaman. I love Jason Momoa, and I can't wait. And he came out and he was like sheepish, and then boom, and then just shot off like a torpedo. It was like my second favorite moment in the entire film, and I loved it so much. And I like the way they're setting up the Justice League. I hope it comes about really cool. And those are my, 6 gripes and 4 wows? Well, equals 10 altogether. That's the best, right? So, finally, my overall thoughts for this entire film. It was messy and just could have been so much better. There were like 5 stories running in the beginning, none of them meshed well, and then you came into the end and it was kind of anticlimactic, and then you just left me and it was like you didn't leave me wanting more, you left me wanting like a little bit less, you left me kind of, I felt a tiny bit cheated afterwards, I felt like kind of angry a little bit. So my overall rating of the film is a solid 4 out of 10. 4 because beautifully stunning, Wonder Woman was badass, Ben Affleck was cool. So there you have it. Those are my thoughts on Batman vs. Superman. If you have any thoughts contrary or otherwise, please leave them in the comment section down below. I'd love to see them. And as usual, like and share this video. Get it out there to as many people as you can. And subscribe to my channel. I'm still doing a lot of things. I'm going to try and post every Monday or Wednesday. So if there's no video on Monday, it will definitely be out on Wednesday. So follow me on Twitter and Instagram and all that jazz. I'm Kyron, and I'll catch you on the flip side.